Church news time. Travis Wayne Goodsall. This isn't about a prophet, because there was one who was at the DC temple with a Mongolian ambassador. So expect that Mongolia will be couped in a month. So, did I say Travis Wayne Goodsall? Church news time. Section 107, verse 91. And again, the duty of the president of the office of the high priesthood is to preside over the whole church and to be like the Jewish Christ, the man like Moses. Behold, here is wisdom, yea, to be a seer, a revelator, a translator, the only one not footnoted, and a prophet, having all the gifts, even as a footnote, of God, which he bestows upon the head of the church. And so when you take it in the context of Matthew chapter 7, verse 15, to judge false prophets by their fruits, so you won't be deceived, it's important that you know what each of these are, so that you would know how to judge properly by the fruits thereof. A seer, visions, dreams, not real history. All in your head as visions and dreams. You know, the first vision, the second vision, not literal history by definition. And so if you're going to call Joseph Smith a seer, it better be because you're referring to visions and dreams and not literal history events. A revelator. Mormon chapter 8 verse 33. The Book of Mormon contains revelations of a time and day. It's not inspiration. A translator. I wonder what that could be. And prophet. Predicting the future. Thus, Matthew chapter 7, verse 15. You can judge a false predictor of the future by the prediction not coming to pass. He has to give a revelation time and day. He can't just say stuff and say, well, it'll probably be in a couple hundred years. And people all die and forget about it. He doesn't write it down. Nobody writes it down. Nobody remembers. Nobody cares. Right, Nelson? Oh, but Travis, he said in a coming day. Yeah, and it's past a week. The definition of in a coming day ends after a week. Oops, no Jesus. And you can't claim that it's a spiritual witness feeling to see Jesus, because the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints' position is that Jesus has a body of flesh and bone as tangible as man's. Oops. Which means he's subject to the laws of physics, which means he can't come from outer space. With or without a flying horse. Simple, basic stuff. And this church screws you up. December 5th, 2024. Featured stories. Prophetically directed. Really? There is a future prediction by one of the presidents of the church, huh? This is what it needs to be. If you judged these prophets by the scriptures, they all fail. And because they all fail, Mormons live in denialism land. And they lie and deny, because after all, the prophets lie and deny. If the prophets aren't going to repent, why should Mormons repent? Because obviously repentance means something else. Lying means something else. Thus, prophetic means something else. And so pay attention, it's coming, but it gets worse. Reflecting on the historic launch of FamilySearch.org 25 years later. So you'd think that it was prophetically prophesied of future events to have FamilySearch.org. Nope. Has nothing to do with prophecies of the future. Mormons are so desperate to prove this church true that they won't adhere to the Bible because they won't confirm it. Mormons have to create other excuses, and everybody just laughs at you, Mormons. They're all laughing. You're stupid. Your desperation to prove this church is true is humiliating you. Everybody's laughing at you. Not because you're having your menstrual cycle that your mom didn't bother to tell you about was going to happen. And so there you are in the girls' locker room bleeding in the showers and everybody's laughing at you. Carrie. The John Travolta version. It was so sad. Mean girls. So, Richard E. Tully Jr., former managing director of the church's family history department. So what is he now? Nothing? What's he doing in there? He's nobody. He's retired. Dear God. Looks back at the events surrounding the digital development of its genealogical website. And so, yes, the genealogical website had to have a person who received inspiration to design the program. And it's had lots of problems over the generations. Thus, dumbass alert, dumbass alert, amen to your authority. But yeah, the church hires family rather than competent experts in the field. And so Trent Tooney, we've had dealings with him before, and here we go again. And so yes, this is Trent Tooney, who's purposely trying desperately to prove the church is still true and refuses to obey the Bible. By their fruits you shall know them. Probably makes the excuse that it's not translated correctly, Travis. Okay, Alma, chapter 32, starting in verse 28. Game, set, match. It's the science of agronomy. To learn truth. It is not a spiritual witness feeling. If you put things in the physical realm, you don't use spiritual witness feelings, you use science. There are eternal laws. You can't violate them. Otherwise, you know the people as false automatically. So, in October 1997, President Gordon B. Hinckley introduced the concept of smaller temples. This is unrelated to Oh My Hell. This is the Mormon apologetic tactic of take you down a rabbit hole to divert you away from the real issue that they can't explain and know that it's wrong. So to maintain their faith bubble, they take you on other arguments, hoping that one of them you won't know about, and they gotcha. The genealogical work has nothing to do with the smaller temples. Smaller temples were so that the church can escalate the number of temples to occupy land. The land grab for the latter days. Jesus is coming to murder people and coup governments. That's the second coming of Jesus Christ for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. What, you never knew that? Well, what happens with the coming of Jesus? Well, destruction. His glory burns people. Even though it denies the laws of physics. And Joseph Smith said, they that come shall burn you, not Jesus. And so thus it's people impersonating a religion, Christianity, and claiming that Jesus is going to do it. Verse 19, all wrong, abominable, and corrupt. To members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and spoke of a vision. Oops, that's seership, not prophetic. See, Trent Tooney is illiterate. In his desperation to prove the church is true, Trent Tooney is illiterate. Do you have special needs, Trent Tooney? The church used to be running an illiteracy program for third world countries, because Utah Mormons don't need it. It was exciting news, but it signaled the need for significant changes in how the church. This is a business decision. It's a criminal organization business decision, but it's not prophecy. It's not revelation. It's not seership visions. It's not even translation, though yes, they have to do translation of videos for each of the temples in a different country with a different language. But it's Hebrew and Egyptian that it's talking about, modern languages. See, this is unrelated. He's combining other things unrelated rather than focusing on the subject. Family search, genealogical website, 25 years ago. Smaller temples has nothing to do with this. But it signaled the need for significant changes in how the church's family history department processed names for temple work, said Richard E. Turley Jr. This is the temple ordinances for the dead. This was the big scam by the Danites in 1838. Joseph Smith had nothing to do with this. Joseph Smith referred to that passage in the context of Malachi, talking about the extermination by Christian Jesus, that there's a need to preserve the human race from the enemy that comes shall burn you, to preserve children of fathers so that they can become fathers and produce more children and continue the human race. And kind of need women for that, to do that. But Brigham Young thought, hey, zombie apocalypse. And we'll get Mormons to pay for it. to save their imprisoned dead ancestors, to free them from the bondage of spirit prison, so that they can be exalted without their agency. Whose plan of happiness was it to take away agency? Yes, this is where this Temple Ready program and doing names for the temple had some boo-boos. Because there were Mormons who were doing a whole bunch of boo-boos. Michael Jackson, Mickey Mouse have had their temple work done. Michael Jackson was dead when his temple work was done. He's got to be dead first. And there was the one hateful old man who thought he was going to save the Jews who died during the Holocaust. And the Jews had to keep pressuring the church to stop it. And so the church finally had to tell the man to stop it. Several times. And so now the Jews have a specific person that the church knows and recognizes who scans the temple work that gets done to make sure that no Jewish Holocaust names get put in. All because the church can't be good. This whole baptism for the dead and temple work for the dead is the most abominable of the abomination of desolation that I've been going over with you lately. This is part of the pigs sacrificed on the Jerusalem temple altars. Not the prostitution part, but sort of. Because you do have to you have to seal your ancestors to each other. So that you have to pay the prostitution price for your dead ancestors to be prostituted. This shows you how corrupt this church is. That Mormons are just dense. Just clueless zombies who go around speaking blasphemies, racism, sexism, bigotry, and they don't see what the problem is. As the Menaces to Society TikTok page, I think that was what it was called, had spent time at BYU getting gold of billions of views, interviewing BYU co-eds who still proved that the church is still racist since 1978. I've had people come to my channel talking about how the missionaries came to their door, and there's a black person in the group, and the missionaries tell him, "Hey, you're a fence sitter in the premortal council in heaven. So you need to be baptized so you can be pure." The missionaries are clueless. They don't understand what's wrong. Because the prophets tell them to say this. The manuals tell them to say this. And if this is what the prophets say, then it's got to be true. And therefore can't be racist, can't be sexist, can't be bigoted, can't be hateful, can't be anti-Semitic. the ancestral file, they're skipping the ancestral files. He says, we had to re-engineer how we did family history. The problem led to the development. What problem? They don't tell you the problem. It was the ancestral file. Mormons were asked to send in their pedigree charts of every family member they've had. And unfortunately, there were quite a number of Mormons, even in my family lines, who like to embellish the family histories, which resulted in the Fulmer family, most dominantly, out of all my family lines, that took it upon themselves to clean up the errors of others in the family who were screwing things up, of the Fulmer family. And so they hired a professional genealogist who spends a whole year on just one name. He's getting paid. He's a professional. So one name gets talked about each year in the summertime at the family reunion. You guys are getting scammed. You need to pay him per family member, not for the year or for his time. Oh my God. And so, yeah, and so even the discs that the church put out, when they had them at stake center genealogy libraries, running the programs, there were some input errors as well. And so when you tried to download your family line to your family file, it produced loops. And it is so frustrating to try to identify and cut the loop. And so, yeah, he's not talking about the problems for a reason. And so then Ancestry, DNA, they didn't bother to do the science. You send them your DNA sample and all they do is send you back the Ancestry file that the church gave them. It's a scam. So that they can profit off of it. The church does it, why can't we? The whole missionary program is a pyramid scheme, MLM or Ponzi, whatever one you want to say to make it sound better. So USANA and doTERRA, for example, thrive in the state of Utah, which is a different form than Mr. Mac profiting off of the pyramid scheme indirectly, because everybody needs to pay up for the packet to recruit for the church. Nobody sees the criminal behavior that permeates this culture here in Utah. The whole system that is designed in government and business and with the church is all corrupt and criminal. None of it is good. Anybody who claims to do charity is doing it so that they can have a living. Gail Miller's concentration camps of hell of human trafficking. Oh, she's helping the poor and the homeless. No, she's not. No. She's profiting off of it, exploiting the homeless. Nothing goes to the homeless. unless it's a physical, tangible good. Because money, the homeless never see it. You have to give tangible things that can't be used by the shelter, like detergent or laundry soap. Because they'll just use it for their laundering of the sheets, which they're trying to do away with, so that the homeless don't even get a blanket or towels. God, it is a nightmare here in this valley, and all where it spreads. God. Notice I'm not being cyber attacked yet on this video. They've already done their damage. Where are you, Travis? We're gonna get you. They know I do church news videos around this time. They know they're supposed to be watching for me. Where are they? And so I should bring up, because nobody knows it but me and those who have been watching my videos that cover it, the first baptisms for the dead, which were claimed to be by Joseph Smith, which were not by Joseph Smith, included William Morgan. And so when you look it up on Wikipedia, you'll see that there's a possible connection. But no, they don't make that possible connection. They purposely leave it out. Because they don't want you to know I'm right. William Morgan was arrested in Canandaigua, New York, where he was writing the book and only got to 116 pages. Huh? And so it's these Danites who knew that Joseph Smith Sr. helped William Morgan. That these Danites of Brigham Young are the enemy threat to the United States of America that William Morgan was writing the Book of Mormon to warn the nation for. And the Book of Mormon is all proven true as prophecy and revelation. But again, we're still not seeing, we have a vision sort of, but it was a business deal. I mean, you don't call Elon Musk a prophet or a visionary or Zuckerberg or Bezos. No breaks for you. Pee in a cup. If you form a union, you're fired. His ex-wife, she must be the most awesomest woman in the universe. She took half of his money with the divorce, and she actually gave to charity. She wanted nothing in return, like all other charities do. She actually just gave away the money. She has got to be the purest of hearts. Good for her. And she showed up at church even. Nelson holds a big old press conference with the NAAC, who are held as slaves to the church. Why is nobody complaining about that? And talks about how the church is giving $4 million to help students of the black community. Bezos' ex, the very next day, billions to help children get an education. The church is getting something in return. She just gave it. Humiliated the church. She's awesome. We need more people like her. Unbelievable. Here they're talking about money. The plan required extra assistance and time for development. Yeah, because all of your computer programmers are dumb. They had to figure out how to make computers accessible to Latter-day Saints around the world. They halted building family search centers in North America and diverted funds to areas where members didn't have ready access to computers. Oh my hell. See how the church is profiting off of this? He doesn't talk about it. What do you have to do in order to be worthy to go to the temple? Give you a hint, it's number 10. You have to pay tithing. The people outside of the United States of America are not even going to church, let alone paying tithing. They're struggling to survive. And so this is an evil plot by the church to put computers in third world countries under the guise of, hey, learn about your family. Oh, you can do the temple work for them. Oh, you're not fully paid up on tithing? Well, you better do so. Your families are in hell right now. Just like the Presbyterian at Alvin's funeral. Your son is going to burn in hell because he didn't get baptized. This also is part of the scam that they tried to pull on the native Indians of Oklahoma, which is how I remember it. The native Indians wanted to build a museum of the history of their people in America, but they were running short on funds. They weren't able to complete it. The church came along and said, hey, we'll give you several $1 million so that you can have the museum. And they said, thank you. And then the church said, hey, is it okay if we put up booths so that people can do their family history search? Learn about their ancestors? Yeah, sure, it sounds great. And of course, the church had ulterior motives. Hey, you want to learn more about the church? See the missionaries. And yeah, the financial scam behind it. Those in charge of the museum found out about this and gave back the money. The only people I have ever heard about who had honor and integrity to give back the money that was exploiting them. Everybody else around the whole world has no honor and integrity, not even the AACP. And so I'm not seeing anything about prophetic predictions of the future. I'm seeing a financial scam. And so now he's talking about how they're doing roots tech that emerged from this, and that's also a scam. You have to pay to go. And so yeah, when they go on the Today Show, when it was launched, they purposely leave out the information about the scam and the crime. And the Today Show don't investigate first. You know, like Vox, was it Vox? That did it for the MLM of the church? It was one of the, Axios or Vox, one of the two. I think it may have been Axios. Let's see if I can find it. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it. I'm so excited. Axios, LDS Church, MLM. It is Axios. Yep, Mormons targeted in alleged 500 million Ponzi scheme. Federal investigators have accused Michael Beasley. I'm watching Moonlighting Season 3. In case you didn't see the footnote below, or the description below of the two songs. One of them is Moonlighting. It's because I'm in episode number 2. Jeffrey Judd and others targeting members of the Church of Jesus Christ. That's not quite the one. Mormon Church slams unfortunate 60 Minutes report, but that's the whistleblower when he did that. Church Tech Forum, MLM, financial fraud, and church relationships. The church does it! The First Presidency has issued warnings in the past about the use of church relationships to entice people into financial relationships. You know, like the First Presidency does. With Family Search. Here it is. Here we go. Salt Lake Tribune's covering it. Multi-level marketing in Utah and how it links to the LDS Church. With more MLM businesses or direct selling companies per capita than any other state. She just did this in January. Utah is the global hub. There's our title. It's not a pyramid. MLM or Ponzi. It's prophetic. Oh my God. Let's try Vox then. But not the Mormons. Here's why. Can fail. Secret lives of Mormon wives. Oh dear God. Oh God. It is a crime. Let's find the federal law code. Federal law code. Ponzi scheme. 18 U.S.C. 1348. 25 years in prison and a fine. Church would never be able to pull themselves out of it. Frauds and swindles. And here it is yet again. Everything the church does can be found in a federal law code. They cannot tell the truth. They cannot be good. It is impossible for them to do. When are Mormons going to wake up to this? But that's why the church doesn't want you to watch R-rated movies, because that's where all the crimes take place. You know, like The Godfather, The Sopranos. Even though that was Showtime, I think, not HBO, because it's not porn, it's HBO. There we go. But, I mean, I just, as a kid, I want to buy candy. And I'm being told, no, I gotta pay 10% to the church. What? What do you mean? Nobody could explain it. It was a commandment. But it's atonement paid back to Jesus for his atonement, which was supposed to make it free for our salvation. And yet the church has twisted it completely to make us pay back the atonement. And we can never do so in this life. It is by grace that we are saved. After all, we can pay. That our kindred dead are saved after all we can pay. Thumbnail picture quote. Seriously, guys, what does it take for you to snap out of it? And so I'm still divinely inspired program. Oh, here we go. This must be it. 25 years later, the church has continued to build temples. That has nothing to do with family search. It's a business deal. He gives nothing. It was a nothing burger, as I think it's called. Dear God, stop, Mormons. Wake up. Quit being zombies for the church. Quit getting angry and committing crimes against me for exposing this. I'm trying to save your life, and you're arguing about it. Cut it out.